Good morning, beautiful. It's great to be out here. Oh, look, I've got to show you this, not waste any time, because we'll just stand here for a little bit and enjoy the cherry tree and hope that there's another breeze. The cherry snow is starting to fall. It's looking in the other direction, and the petals were whizzing past me, so I'm hoping that the breezes will play beautifully with us and show us more of that magic. But meanwhile, there's a lot of magic. There you go, you start to see little blossom petals starting to drop. We need the wind to be long and strong enough to be a bit noisy and to break the petals off the flowers, but it's so beautiful. And there's nothing wrong with just enjoying this. Good morning, Amy. It's just beautiful, waving in the wind. I've given myself permission to wait for the siren to be done, to go inside if it's too noisy out here. Good morning, Linda. But there it is. No cherry snow. It was only a special, it's all happening somewhere else. It was only just when I was starting. But you know, you get a special experience of our local fire siren, and probably as soon as I turn my back, the cherry snow will start. But you know, we can just enjoy this. Oh, there is nothing missing. Oh, there you go. Can you see it? It's probably a bit hard to see on camera, but there are petals falling and it's very pretty. So we're going to enjoy the magnolia. And good morning to everybody who's joining us. You can see there's been a bit of weather. Things have, gotten beaten up, but there are still lots of flowers. This is a really good tree. It just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes for a very long time. A lot of flowers. And some rather unseasonal anemones. Good morning, Carl. It is great to see you. It's lovely to have you here. Let's get up close. I'll just walk into the garden, show you this close, because these flowers are beautiful. There you go. There's the detail. So, yeah, it's really good to be out here, and the wind is not too bad. So I'm just going to appreciate it and show you the flowers. Because they don't last forever, nothing does. Everything changes. And in that, everything stays the same. What else is there? Oh look, they're so lush. Everything here is doing better because the cherry tree got pruned and there's more light coming through. So I'm expecting the roses to be happier this year and much more next year. They've been recovering from being shaded. And let's enjoy these amazing cineraria because look at them. They're just so bright. And when you get up close, you can see all the detail about how the flower changes as it ages. It's just beautiful. Donna, good morning. It is great to have you on with us. Good morning to everyone. Facebook doesn't always tell me who you are, but it's great when I can greet you. So there we go. Oh, and that magnolia tree is going to start flowering soon. I don't know whether those spikes you can see are flowers or leaves, but it flowers in summer, so that's coming. It's all happening. Right, let me get to the subject. I wanted to pick up pretty much where we left off yesterday, and really talk about this thing of, Julian, good morning. Lovely to have you on board. This question of if you've been so entrenched in the life that you've had, the trauma, the pain, the difficulty, the lack, the I can't, the impossibility, the heartbreak, whatever it is, if you've been so entrenched in that you literally can't see outside of it and you can't even imagine a different life. I want to talk about that situation. And you can see where I'm wearing a hat because the sun when it comes out is bright, but it makes my face go dark, so oh well, never mind. So, I'll be speaking out of the blackness. So, how do you do that? How do you get yourself out of your own box? And I know we've spoken about this before, but I just feel like speaking about it again because we're constantly having to do this. It's not like you get out of your own box and then that's it. You never have another box to get out of. it's like the old idea, this is old now, the old idea of the glass ceiling, the invisible thing that you just bump up against all the time. When you find your way through that glass ceiling, if you are dedicated to growth and your own, growth as a person and becoming more of what you're capable of and achieving your dreams or creating your dreams or whatever you want to call it, you're going to hit more glass ceilings. You're going to hit more walls. Geotica, it's great to see you. And so how do you move through them when you don't even know what's on the other side? So you can't imagine it, right? Everyone's saying, visualize your future and dream and create and imagine yourself there. You think, I can't freaking imagine what it's like to be there. So how do you do that? And bear in mind that it is much more than visualizing. Imagining is quite different from visualizing. Visualizing, you have a picture. Imagining, really what I want to say is you've got to put yourself in your future. You've got to get there in your mind. And full imagination means using all of your senses. It's not enough to see it. You've got to smell it. You've got to taste it. You've got to breathe it. You've got to feel it on your skin. You've got to imagine the ground or the whatever it is under your feet, the temperature, who's there, who's not there, what's there, where you are, the entire place, situation, whatever it is. All of that has to become more real to you, eventually, than your current existence. That is creation. That is going to your future in your mind before you've gone there in your body. That is what I'm talking about when I'm saying creation, when I'm saying creating new future, creating new life that you love and live that instead. That's what I'm talking about. And that's a grand ideal. Jen, good morning, honey. And anyone can do this, but if you are so entrenched in the life that you've always known, it's like, how the hell do I do that? Because remember, getting back to brains again, if you are really entrenched in the life that you've always known and you struggle to think outside of it, never mind feel outside of it, that means there's a ton of hardware, literally, synaptic connections, big bundles of neurons that are all hooked up in your brain, like, a massive spider's web and knitting gone wrong and string and chewing gum all glued together around all of this identity of this is how my life is and this is what I can and can't have and this is what I can and can't do, all that. There's a ton of hardware in there about it. And because when you fire those synaptic connections, you always produce neurotransmitters when you have a thought. And those neurotransmitters trigger a downward cascade of chemistry in your body, which means you have an emotion. Period. I mean, unless the thought is so small that you don't even notice it, you don't pay it any attention. As soon as you pay attention to something, guaranteed you're making chemistry. Thoughts, electrical stuff, chemistry in your body, period. That's what happens because the thought is an electrical thing. They've taken pictures of it. It's like a lightning storm in your brain. I've seen it. It's really cool. So that's the thing. If your identity is literally hardwired and your body, of course, has become really, really, really accustomed to how it feels to be thinking that way. And then you think that way and you feel that way, and then because your body's so accustomed to feeling that way, your brain is always spying on your body. And so it notices that your body is feeling insecure or limited or lackful or frustrated or whatever it is, and it says, let me find some more thoughts that are equal to those feelings. So the feelings give rise to more thoughts, and then the thoughts give rise to more feelings, and the feelings give rise, and around and round and round it goes. Robin, good morning, honey. And that's why we get so entrenched in, who we think we are and how our lives are and all that stuff. And the more emotional charge there is around our memories and our identities, in other words, the more trauma you've had, the longer it's gone on for, or maybe there's not been a trauma that you can point to and say, that was awful and it branded me emotionally and energetically and everything for life and all of that. Bernard, good morning, honey. Maybe there's been no trauma. I didn't have trauma, not really. Minor shit that, everybody has trauma to some degree, but nothing dramatic, really. But there is the ongoing just living and being the same person for 25 years. And it kind of has the same effect. It becomes who you think you are. Literally. You think you are this, and so you feel that, and you are that. That isn't just some intellectual, like, oh, I think I'm this person. No, you think it, you feel it, you are that. It's like, oh my God. So thinking outside of that box and then feeling outside of that box can just feel absolutely impossible because it's so unknown. It's like saying, oh, what's it like living on Jupiter? Hell, I don't know. It's like that. It's like, let me take off my head, put it to one side and put on a new head. That's what you're asking me to do. Yeah, I am actually, and I know what it's like because I've given myself a number of head transplants. And it's hard fucking work, especially the first time. Because there's all this argument inside you about whether it's even possible and about whether this even works. But it does. I'm here to tell you it does. I don't have to prove to you that it does because I know that it does. So I don't have to prove to myself. I'm just telling you, it's there. But it's work. And everyone has to take this great leap to some degree inside themselves and say, well, I'm going to believe that it works even though I haven't made it work yet. So that's one of the barriers you have to meet, I think, is the sheer, oh, gee, can I actually do this? Is it really true that if I start to create a life that I think I would love and adore to live, that just doing that inside my own mind, which of course then affects my body, I've got to remember this, mind, body, create different experience, just doing that, if I can do that and get good at it, and it's going to take me time and I'm going to have to practice and my body's going to fight me because it's used to what it knows, all of that stuff we talked about so many times. You mean to say that if I do that, my life will change? Yes, it will. Yes, it will. Because you are changing the clear intention. You've been putting clear intention into how lackful and how disempowered and how rejected or unloved or whatever it is for however long. That's the clear intention. Then you have the chemistry that flows from that. And if you feel that strongly and clearly, that is the elevated emotion. The universe has to endorse that. It has to give you more of that. It has no choice in the matter. It's not about God saying, oh, we're going to punish this person some more. It's just, I have to honour their clear thought and their elevated emotion. I wish they'd change it so I could give them something better. That's really, and actually, divinity doesn't think like that. It's just, they're doing this now. Oh, bless them. We're going to give them exactly what they want. And as soon as they change what they want, we'll give them that. And love them so much, no matter what they ask for. So that was me thinking like a human. But divinity doesn't care. Divinity just loves and adores you, no matter what you decide to manifest. Succeed, fail, it's all the same. The universe adores you, regardless. Is always going to endorse your divine command as creator in your life. It's always going to do that because it loves you. So if you take even some of that as, okay, I have a thought, I have chemistry, I'm broadcasting a signature to the universe and the universe has to honour that. Gee, I better change my signature. Feck. How in hell do I do that? I'm so used to what I'm used to. My advice, here it is, start really, really small. Speaking from experience, start small. Because if you can't see outside your own box and you try to elevate, you try to say, I'm gonna whatever, you're actually creating something outside of the box, but it's only built upon what's inside the box. You kind of can't do it. It's a bootstrap situation. It's like you can't pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. You actually have to stop giving your attention to the things that you don't want and don't like enough to let those circuits in your brain cool off. And then you can start to, your brain will become more coherent and you can start to let different information in. And for me, the go-to tool for that is certain kinds of meditation. All meditation has benefits. Absolutely all kinds of meditation has benefits. But the kind that I'm talking about is what I've learned from Dr. Joe Dispenza, because it allows me to do this. And it's efficient and it's effective and it's backed by scientific research. And they're always doing more about how can we make this better. And it works. I'm really like things that work. And I'm speaking as a person who a year and a half ago said, no, I don't like meditation. And I didn't. Because, well, I mean, I had an undisciplined mind. I didn't know what I was not liking, really. But nothing had kind of lit up for me about how to actually make this work. And now I know, I understand the nuts and bolts, the how-to. And if I know what I'm doing and why, and I've just told you the what and the why, you know, brain, chemistry, quantum signal to the universe, must endorse that. Okay, that's why, and that's what's happening. So changing it, therefore becomes worth the effort, because it is an effort. And then the reaching outside of your box, to get outside of your box, you've got to actually get your brain to shut up. And to do that, you've got to slow your brain waves down. And to do that, the fastest way to do that is to open your focus. We talked about that. Maybe we'll talk about that on Monday. Because we haven't revised it for a while, and I've learned new things, so I might explain it differently. That's what happens when you learn. So you open your focus, you make your brain more coherent, you stop paying attention to all the stuff that normally you're obsessing about. Those circuits cool off. Your brain becomes more coherent, and new information can get to a brain that's more coherent. Because remember, the only things you can receive are equal to the emotion you're feeling. So if you're feeling powerless or whatever, and you want to feel empowered, you actually can't receive anything about what that experience is like while you're still sitting there feeling disempowered and saying, I want something in my world outside of me to change so I can feel empowered. Never going to work. Andrew, good morning. Doesn't work like that. You got to change it inside. And we all want something to come along and make us feel better, and then we'll say, oh, okay, I'll let go of the bad feeling then. No. We have to master ourselves. We have to realise this is how it works. I've got to open my focus. I've got to turn down the volume on these circuits that have been firing for 45 years and start creating some new ones. And this is the start really, really small part, okay? So you can practice opening your focus, and that's a great thing. And if you're, in one sentence, that would be like me standing here in this garden, shutting my eyes and putting my awareness all around me, like imagining everything that I can, and just putting my awareness there. Because if I do that, I'm not thinking, I'm sensing. All right? I can feel you all playing with that, those of you that haven't done this before. It's amazing. I can feel what we're doing in the energy as we're together. So you open your focus, and the more you do that, the more your brain calms down. You go into an alpha brainwave state, ultimately, instead of beta or high beta when you're wah! You calm your brain down, and then, because you're no longer wah, different information can get in. And you can have an intention, well, I want to feel empowered. And you just hold this thought of, I don't know, a bright light or a fist, or an E for empowered, or whatever. You just have a symbol that you think, that means I feel empowered. And you just bring that to your mind when you're in this calmer state, and you just sit with it. And something will come in, and it might be the tiniest corner of, I feel empowered. It means I can say yes to myself. And maybe that's all you can imagine about this life where you feel empowered. So I can say yes to myself without feeling guilty. Oh, hang on, where did that come from? Before I was just saying I can say yes to myself, and now I've added something to it. It's got richer. I can say yes to myself, and I don't feel bad about it. And you can get to know that, and you can think about it, and you can explore it in that quiet space where your brain is quieter. And then when you open your eyes and you walk back into your life, it's not that anything has really changed outside of you, but now you have this new alternative that you know is outside of the box, because you've never said yes to yourself without feeling guilty in your entire life. And now you're thinking about doing it. You're starting to mentally rehearse it. And with practice, the next day you go back into opening your focus and exploring this idea of saying yes to yourself and not feeling bad about it, because we should put everyone else first. No, put yourself first. It's very important. Then you can serve other people with a full cup instead of an empty one. So you go, and there's another thing. Oh my God, if I say yes to myself and I don't feel guilty about it, my cup's going to fill up, it's going to overflow, and I'll have more for other people. Oh, I like how that feels. I'm feeling more full. I'm feeling more full. Oh, let me sit with that. And as you start to get to know this state of being just inside your own mind, of course, you're starting to change your chemistry. You're starting to have little experiences of what that might be, all in your imagination. But your body is actually having the experience. And it starts small. You just think, oh, that might feel really good. Oh, what would that feel like? You go into a bit more, how would that feel? How would that feel is probably the most useful question. What would it be like? And you can start to fill in the details, because this is what happens as you explore things and as you have a little experience of something. Experience enriches the brain. What I mean by that is if you make that first neural connection, oh, okay, I want to say yes to myself. Neural connection, new thought. And then you have another thought, I want to say yes to myself without feeling bad. That's another bunch of neurons that strings together. I want to feel good when I say yes to myself. That's another thought. Saying I want to feel good is different from saying I don't want to feel bad. Okay, now we've got 3 concepts all grouped together in your brain. Oh, and when I say yes to myself, I remember somebody said to me that if I say yes to myself, my cup is going to fill up and I'm going to have more to give to other people. And then I'm going to feel really good about that. Oh, that's another 3 things. Experience enriches the brain. You literally make new connections as you start to experience them. And those neurons string together and they fire. And you get neurotransmitters, and you get chemistry, and it's different. It's from outside of the box. And that is literally how you and I do this. That's what we have to do. And it works, and it's science, and it's possible. It can be extremely challenging to start with because we're so fired and wired and hardwired and conditioned to our old chemistry and our old way of thinking. It doesn't mean you can't do it. I just told you how. And I'm speaking from experience. I know what it's like. And I know you can do it. Pig love. Thank you for sharing this week with me. It's been an amazing, amazing, amazing week. And next week will be just equally as amazing. Until then, enjoy the resonant replays that I'll put up over the weekend. I'll see you Sunday, Monday. Bye-bye.